It's a man's world? That's an interesting statement, isn't it? Hi there. I'm Julie Turner, julieturner.ca, and I have actually decided that March is Man Month. That's right. February was Love Month, and March, why not? Why shouldn't March be Man Month? All right, before we dig into the topic at hand, whether or not it's a man's world, I would love you to like and subscribe to whatever it is you're watching this video on. And if you resonate with the material that you hear, then I would love you to share it. Share it on your social media, or maybe share it to somebody that it might make sense to and might support. All right, let's get back to the topic at hand. As I said, it's a man's world. And I question that. And the reason is, see, the way I see it, and this is all about my perception of things, it's gotten more and more difficult in this world to be a man. And I'm not a man, obviously, and I'm super grateful. I gotta tell you, there's nobody I'd rather be than me. But I often hear people talking about how it's a man's world and how men get all of these privileges. And but what's really interesting is, if you look at it, it must be really, really confusing for men. Because when they're out in the workplace, they're supposed to have a certain persona. And then they come home, and I work with a lot of couples, and I work with a lot of men individually. And in the couples, I often see that the husband is confused as to how he's supposed to be. He can't talk the same way at home as he can at work, because if he goes to work and talks the same way he talks to his wife, then he's going to get, not in trouble at work, but let's say maybe laughed at. And then if he goes home and speaks to his wife the way he speaks at work, she's going to be like, "What do you think you're doing?" And I'm not guessing at this. I'm seeing it. I'm watching it in my clients and in the world around me. So when we think this world is a man's world, I think maybe it used to be. And I think maybe we still hold on to energy. We as humans love to hold on to the past. We just love to. And, you can say how important it is to remember history so we don't relive those events, although that doesn't appear to work because we seem to relive events over and over and over again. Side note, have you ever read The Laws of Human Nature from Robert Greene? I read that book a few years ago, and it was such a frustrating book for me to read, and yet it was so true. And what was frustrating about it is he spoke a lot in definitives. So he spoke of how this is the way we are. This is how we are. It was very much, it was not open-ended. It was, this is the way that humans are. And I hardcore disagree. I think it's the way that humans have been. And we love to get stuck in how we are, how things are done. But we need to leave it open-ended. We need to be able to conceive and perceive a different and a new future. And I really want to do this month, this series of videos, as well as my podcast, Real Talk with Julie Turner. It's going to be speaking to men and about men and some of the challenges that men go through. And I know for a fact that men are never sure how they're supposed to behave. One person tells them that they're supposed to be the leader and they're supposed to be aggressive and they're supposed to go after what they want. And the next person says, "Hey, settle down here. I'm not ready for you to go after what you want." And relationship expert, communication expert, I'm talking all relationships. We give such conflicting messages to men. And don't get me wrong, it's not that I don't ever believe that women get conflicting messages, because of course they do. However, I see it happen so often to men, and men are judged on what other men have done. And that's not fair. It's not fair when it happens to women either. But again, it's Man Month, so we're talking about men right now. It is not fair to hold this man who stands in front of you accountable for historically what men have been like, whether that's historically from the beginning of time or historically in your life. We need to be able to be open ended and just allow ourselves to see the person in front of us for who they are. And men have had a rough go the last few years from what I've seen. And even so, I started working with men for a specific reason. And I didn't realize it at the time, but apparently I was trying to rescue my father from himself. Now, my father's been gone for a long time. He passed away in '06. But I watched him struggle so much with being able to be who he wanted to be. And he just kind of gave up on that. He gave up on ever thinking he was going to get what he wanted, ever thinking that what his wants and needs were important, because that is one thing that happens with men a lot. Ladies, pay attention right now. When you ask a man to be open with you, when you ask him for his thoughts, his wants, his needs, and his emotions, and then you mitigate them like they don't matter, why would he become more open with you? You know, women are not the only ones that have wants and needs and emotions. Of course, men have emotions and they feel them. They just don't always show them. And that's a trick of mine. I feel all the emotions, all the spectrum of emotions. But sometimes in my life, it's not felt safe to show them. And I guarantee you, there's a lot of men out there right now going, yes, it doesn't feel safe to show my emotions. Because there's, whether it's another man or whether it's women that are just like, who cares? Who cares what your thoughts are? Because I'm having thoughts and I'm having emotions right now. And I know I'm probably seeming a little harsh right now, but I really want to get my point across. I really want you to understand that men are struggling. They are struggling to know how to show up and what emotions to show and what not to show and when they can show them and when they can't. So have a little empathy, guys, men and women, for whatever it is that that human in front of you is going through. If you need support with this, if you are somebody, as I said, I work with a lot of men, and the reason that I work with a lot of men is because I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to actually support you to have those emotions when you choose to, and not to negate them and not to act like they don't matter. Your wants and needs matter. And that's why I'm here. So I don't believe it is a man's world. And I don't believe that we should segregate that way anyways. This world is here for all of us, but we need to play fair and we need to play a little bit nicer with everyone. All right. Thank you guys so much for your time today. Again, if you like this video, share it, like it, subscribe. Thank you and have an amazing day.